Okay guys, so how I promised in my previous video, if you haven't seen my previous video, I'll leave the link below. So the previous video, I mentioned that I'm going to give you a technique that works like magic, okay? That works like ultimate magic when you're feeling upset, sad, hurt, triggered, destroyed emotionally, okay? There's a very simple technique. Before I explain you the technique, I need to explain to you a little bit of like the technology about it. So in a lot of my videos, I mentioned that we have multiple parts of our psyche. We have the child, we have the adult, and we have the parent, usually in a critical parent. And the child can be, child can have different states, but usually it's like a hurt child. Okay, so the child is hurt, the parent is angry, and the adult is your sense of self. It's like the adult is strong, the adult is rational, the child is irrational, the inner critic can also is rather irrational. But your adult part of you, and you, everyone who's watching this, you all have that. You have those parts. It's something that's been integrated through our life because we see our parents, we have been a child, we have been a child, we have an experience of being a child, and therefore we would have seen an adult somewhere in our life. Okay, we would have seen an adult figure when we would have seen somewhere, I'm sure you know, if it's not none of your parents, then maybe in the movies you would have seen a rational adult. A rational adult figure, it's a figure that is very strong, has good sense of self, is confident, and it, is usually rather peaceful. So, and it's not triggered. And even if you haven't seen that, then imagine that that part of you, it exists. It's like an ultimate state of peace, I think. It's when nothing really bothers you. And even if something bothers you, you can come back to that state almost instantly. So let me tell you a story. So I was with my friend. My friend did her nose job, and so her nose job did not really go well. And, unfortunately, she had to do secondary rhinoplasty. And that's honestly, it's a traumatizing experience. I could see how it bothered her, right? And so when we went out, someone who was talking next to her hit her on the nose like this, and her nose started bleeding. And she went into shock. She went to complete despair, helplessness, restlessness. She felt horrible. Okay. I could see the mood change from like being happy and excited to feeling like, oh my God, I have to, I have to do this. I don't know what to do. Helplessness. I don't know what to do. How am I going to deal with this? Do I have any power to deal with this? It's a state where it's almost like you're being dropped in a black room where you have to sit alone and there's no one who can help you. Is that really, poor state of helplessness, and it's related to our inner child, to like a traumatized child, unhappy child, whatever. And so something that's very interesting that happened is when she was laying next to me, she started crying and I tried to calm her down. And she started saying, I really want to go to my mom. I want to see my mom, my mom. And it was, it's quite disturbing to hear that from, your friend who's, 32, 33 years old. And I understood that she has fallen into that room. She has fallen into the child. She has fallen into that broken state. And so I told her, I said, let me tell you a story. When I was, it's like a story within a story, Inception. when I when I started studying IFS, internal family systems, I started realizing that there are parts of my psyche that are operating in different moments. And as I also study transactional analysis, it's all same thing anyway, one way or another. And so I started noticing when I was acting like an adult, when I was acting like a critical parent, and when I was acting like a child. okay, or like a hurt child. And so I remember someone wrote me a very painful message that triggered my one of my traumas, you know, and you know, and what I think about traumas at this point, after, you know, being in psychology for many years, I feel like healing, it's not, I don't necessarily believe in healing. I believe in taking accountability and responsibility. And there's another word for it. It's not healing. It's not healing your trauma, but it's like changing the way you perceive things and changing your behavior towards certain things. And so when that happened, I felt like I started drowning. You know, I felt like my tears were coming up and I was about to cry rivers, you know, like rivers. And this is the story that I'm telling my friend, my friend who's a girl. And so, you know, I was telling her, like, you know, I sit there, I'm about to cry rivers. And then I realized, wait a second, I'm in my child role right now. I'm acting like a hurt child. Whatever this person said to me, it has nothing to do with me. It's just that person is acting because that person is hurt or that person is trying to hurt me, but it has nothing to do with me. People will act certain ways, and however people will act, it's all really how they act. It's got nothing to do with me. And so I instantly switched to my adult self. And in seconds, my tears and all of the stuff that was coming up to me, it was gone. It was gone. I didn't need to cry anymore. I didn't have the feel to sit there crying, drowning in sorrow and pity and all of that, right? That state could have gone on for days, by the way. It's possible. Some people cannot get out of it. So in a few seconds, I took myself out of that state. Okay, in seconds, I switched to the adult and I didn't want to cry anymore. And I went about my day just perfectly fine. So, and this is the story that I told my girlfriend, who was laying next to me and crying her eyes out. And I told her this. I said, listen, there is this adult within you that has taken responsibility, that's gotten jobs, that's earning well, that's doing well in life. There's that part of you, like channel that part, you know, step into that part, step out of the child. You're not helpless, you're not broken, you're gonna sort everything out. In seconds, I like literally saw that on her face, how from crying, she was like, she was listening to my story, which was about a minute long, and she was like, you know, I remember her looking at me like, huh, I feel better now. What was it? It was so funny because she was like, did I actually, she looked at me and she's like, did I actually just talk about my mom and wanting to see my mom and wanting to like hug my mom? And I said, yeah, you did. And she's like, wow, you know? So it's quite amazing. It's quite magical how it's just like in seconds, she stopped that negative thinking, you know, drowning in helplessness and sadness and pity and sorrow, you know, in seconds, because her adult part has become strong over time, and we all have that adult. Sometimes it could be weaker. You might have a weaker adult part. So really, it's about communicating with these parts of you, inner parts of you, and it's very powerful. You know, it's a very powerful technique. I cannot stress enough. All you need to do is remember this, remember this story, remember this technique, because when something will trigger you, when something will hurt you, when something will hurt you a lot, step into your adult and understand that, wait a second, I can handle this. That whatever happened, it's not about me, you know, it's that person is just blah 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 talking shit, sorry to say that. And you can never be hurt again. You can genuinely never be hurt again in your life, because of course I'm not talking about, you know, I'm not talking about your mother and father dying or a relative dying or partner dying. Like, that's slightly different, because you would enter the grieving stage where you have to grieve the fact that you'll never see the person again. And no matter how strong adult you are, that is very saddening, right? That's grief. I'm not talking about grief here. I'm talking about emotionality, emotional states. I'm not touching grief. I'm talking about like just being hurt, like you feel hurt or you feel helpless. Okay, helpless is the key word, because it's usually the child that feels helpless. It's not the adult. Adult takes responsibility, and remember that. Adult will take responsibility. Adult will go and sort out whatever needs to be sorted out. Adult will bring you back to reality and take you out of these fantasies and illusions. Adult, it's someone who can create change in your life and can create opportunities, and it's rational. It's rational thinking. Yeah. So, and one thing I wanted to add: if you're the type of person who cries often, then I think I'm going to record a separate video on that, about people who cry often and why they cry often. Yeah, so anyway, guys, let me know what you think about it, this technique. Try implementing it whenever you feel hurt, helpless. Remember what I said, and see how you feel. It's actually pretty amazing. And thank you guys for watching. Leave the comments, likes, follow my channel for more, and I'll see you in another video.